Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my October TBR. The TBR jar is back to help me pick out my reads again for the month. Full transparency, I did not read any of the books that I put on my September TBR. That's because the main reading vlog I was filming this month, which may or may not already be up on my channel, I'll link it if it is. It was so time consuming and so draining to film. The main book that I read for that video took me the whole entire month to read, both because it was so lengthy and so emotionally heavy, which may be a big clue to some of you what book I read and what video I filmed. It was just a lot though, so I didn't really have the time or the energy to get to more books that were on my TBR, but I am really excited to plan out this month of reading for October. I would say aside from the summer months, October is one of my very favorite months to read. I love fall reading. I love the atmosphericness and the moodiness and the vibes that come with the season, so I'm excited to pull some fall books today. I'm hoping that a lot of them work for the prompts that I pull. I am going to pull 8 prompts today. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I feel like I'm just going to want to film a lot of fall mood reading type vlogs over the next month, so that's kind of what I'm gravitating towards. But with that, let's hop right into pulling prompts. As always, if y'all have any ideas for prompts, please comment them below, because I feel like I've been pulling the same ones every month and it's getting a little repetitive, so I kind of want to switch it up. Prompt 1 is a book with a character who has the same name as someone you know in real life. That's a fun one. I'm definitely gonna have to do a little bit of reading the backs of these books to see if any of these characters have names of people I know in real life. The 7-Year Slip is down here. That was one of the ones I didn't get to last month, and I'm very hopeful to get to this coming month. Our main character is Clementine. I definitely don't know a Clementine. It doesn't say our male main character's name on here, but I'm pretty sure it's like an Irish name that's very unique. And I don't know anyone with that name. I think it's like Ewan. So this one won't work for that prompt, unfortunately. Betty, I don't know a Betty. The Love of My Afterlife is a new addition to the cart. And for some reason, the title kind of feels like it could be a fun rom-com for spooky season. See, our main character is Delphi. I definitely don't know a Delphi. Lots of unique names. Jonah. Don't know a Jonah, so I don't think that one will work for this prompt either. I did really want to read the Inheritance games this fall. I've been saying I want to do a reading vlog for this trilogy every fall, and I just never get around to it. Ooh, our main character is Avery. Wait, my cousin's name is Avery, and I'm actually seeing her this weekend. This could definitely be a great option. Joey and Eva. I don't know Joey and Eva, but I would also like to try to get to Redeeming 6. Piranesi. This is kind of on my radar for the fall. It sounds like a really unique book. I think the main character literally is named Piranesi, which obviously don't know a single person with that name. Yeah, I feel like that's the only character in the book too. My Lovely Wife could be a really good one for the fall because I want all the thrillers this season. Tobias, I think, is the husband's name. It looks like there's a Lindsay and Andy. I kind of know a Lindsay, but I feel like Avery would be better because my cousin's name is literally Avery and I'm seeing her tomorrow. Ace of Spades is a dark academia on my radar for fall, and our main characters are Devin and Chiamaka. Don't know anyone with those names either, but I'm hoping this one works for another prompt. I'm gonna flip it around to see if there's anything else, but I feel like Inheritance Games is top of my list. The Naturals I'm still wanting to get to. Both of these series are by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Our main character in this is Cassie. Dean. Michael, I do know a Michael. I don't know, the Inheritance Games feels more fall to me. I do want to get to both though. Blue Sisters is a new release and a new addition to the cart, and I'm definitely hoping a prompt works for this one. Oh, there's also an Avery in here. Wait. That's crazy that the 2 books I was like really wanting to read this month both have an Avery. 2 good options. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I really want to read this fall. It feels like a very gothic type thriller. Our main characters are Lenora and Kit, and I don't know anyone with those names. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I kind of want to read for fall because I know it's like a football romance. Vanessa and Aiden. Don't know anyone with those names. I feel like these are two very good options, and it's so funny to me that both of them have a character with the same name. I'm gonna go with Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors just because I'm more confident that I will actually read this one in the month of October, because I kind of wanted to do an anticipated reads reading vlog. This is definitely one of them. I would say this is one of my most highly anticipated reads of the whole year. I loved Coco Mellors' debut, Cleopatra and Frankenstein. It was a 5-star read for me and one of my favorites, and I've heard really great things about this one as well. I know it's following the relationship between 4 sisters, and I think one of the sisters just passed away. And one thing about me is I love books that follow sister relationships, so there's no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna love this. It's a 5-star prediction for me, so this is gonna be my first pick for the TBR. Prompt 2. That was a good prompt. I hope I get more unique ones like that. Next book in a series. Magnolia Parks is definitely an option. Finale by Stephanie Garber is also an option. I love the Caraval trilogy. Both books that I've read so far in it, I've rated pretty highly, and I definitely want to just finish it out. I feel like the fall would be a good time to do it, so this could be a good option. Ooh, also on this side, I see The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. This is the next book in the Truly Devious series. To be honest, I did really enjoy my time reading Truly Devious, but I really don't remember much of what happened. So I feel like I'm either gonna have to do a reread or find a recap of it somewhere. But I did really like it from what I remember. So I do want to continue on with this series, but I don't know. I feel like the details are so hazy that it's making me hesitant to pick this one, but I'll keep it out as an option. Happily Ever After Playlist by Abby Jimenez is the second book in her Friend Zone series. I love the Friend Zone. I love Abby Jimenez. She is one of my favorite authors, but this to me feels more like summery. It just feels very, very rom-com-y, and I don't know if I'm gonna want to really gravitate towards this in the fall. I feel like there are better options. Redeeming 6, I was saying earlier how I definitely I'm in the mood for this one. I feel like lately, for some reason, despite being such a big Boys of Tommen fan for over a year now, because I read the first book last March, I'm obsessed with that series, and all of a sudden I'm getting so many TikToks for Boys of Tommen, and it's making me more motivated and even more excited to continue on. This is book 4 in the series, and it is the second part of Joey and Aoife's story, which I definitely want to read because I feel like those characters just deserve a happy ending. This is a really good option. I have 3 really good options, honestly. I think I am gonna go with Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. Like I said, it is book 4 in the Boys of Tommen series, and it's the one that I feel the most excited about. After seeing so many TikToks about it, I was like, okay, I'm really in the mood to jump back into this world and into this series. I feel like I've been putting it off a little bit because I hadn't heard the best things about book 5, and I was so highly anticipating book 5. But lately I've heard some rumors that she might be doing a part 2 to Claire and Gibbs's story, which makes me a little more excited. So I am excited to continue on with this series and finish out Joey and Aoife's story. Okay, prompt 3 is a book less than 300 pages. I'm gonna go for the ones that look shorter first. My Lovely Wife, I feel like might be right at the 300 page mark. Oh, nope, it's over. It's like 350. Piranesi, I think, is a pretty short one. And this could be really good for fall because it's kind of like whimsical, I think, kind of a fantasy, a bit dystopian too, I believe. And this one is 245 pages. That's a good option. I wonder how long The Love of My Afterlife is, because even though I said I wasn't really in a rom-com mood earlier, this one feels like the perfect fall rom-com. It's over 300 pages though. I feel like The Naturals is a short book. It's just over 300 pages. Ooh, I actually think I know what I want to do. I think for this prompt, the perfect book for me to pick is Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. This is teeny tiny. It's just over 100 pages and it is a novella. I actually received the arc of this a few months back, and I knew I wanted to save it for spooky season because I loved ML Rio's first book, which is If We Were Villains. She has not written anything since then. I think it's been quite a while since that book came out, and finally we get something else, but it's a teeny tiny novella. But I will take all I can get from ML Rio because I love her writing so much, and I really, really loved that book. This one, I believe it was released on September 24th, so it should be available everywhere now, but I was saving this one for spooky season. I don't know anything about the plot, but based on the title and just how ML Rio's writing was in If We Were Villains, I feel like it's going to be perfect for this time of year. I'm so excited to read it and give you guys all my thoughts. Prompt number 4. A book that was gifted to you. I think the only book on this side I'm seeing that was gifted to me is Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which I still have not read, but I've heard very, very mixed reviews on, and I really want to read it just to know for myself what I think of it. Actually, this one was Hiding Anxious People by Frederick Bachman was also gifted to me. This was on last month's TBR too, and I didn't get to it. I feel like this one isn't specifically a seasonal read. It could probably be read any time of year, but this one definitely entices me more than Powerless just because of the negative reviews I've seen for Powerless. But I still want to get to this one at some point. I feel like for now though, I'm going to put Anxious People by Frederick Bachman on the TBR. This was gifted to me, I believe, 2 birthdays ago, so I've had it for a while and definitely want to read it. I read Beartown by Frederick Bachman earlier this year and loved it, and I've heard the best things about this one. It sounds so interesting. I know it's following a group of people at an apartment viewing, and then across the street there is this guy robbing a bank, and he ends up coming over to the apartment, holding everyone in this apartment viewing hostage, and then we get all the point of views of each of the people in this situation. So it sounds very, very interesting, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of deep life themes in this book, so I am excited to get to this one. Prompt number 5. A book that matches the current season. Perfect. So a fall book. To me, that doesn't necessarily mean that it takes place during fall, but gives me fall vibes. So like a thriller, dark academia, something atmospheric and spooky. So I could go back to The Wall of Winnipeg and Me because football season, football romance. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I feel like I really was excited about this one and was thinking October would be the perfect time to revisit it because I started it this summer actually thinking that it would be more of a summer thriller because it takes place right by the water. But when I started it, it actually has a very gothic feel to it. So I was like, no, I need to save this for the fall. So this could definitely be a good option. We also have Skype down here, which I know it's like a dystopian and they've solved all problems in the world. Like there's no disease, there's no hunger, there's no poverty. So these Grim Reaper type characters decide who gets to live and who gets to die to control the overpopulation, which sounds interesting and definitely I think good for this time of year. I think it's YA too, so it might be a quick and easy read despite it being kind of a darker subject matter. Ninth House is a dark academia, also a good option. To me, this feels more like a November book though than an October book. I know that sounds silly, I don't know how to explain it, but to me I was like, I want to save this for next month, not this month. My Lovely Wife. Definitely a thriller involving lots of murder because it's about this husband and wife and their favorite hobby that they do together is killing people. Some people watch Netflix, some people kill. Ace of Spades, we could revisit. Another dark academia. So many good ones. Ooh, 7 Year Slip. I feel like this one isn't necessarily fall, but it's always given me fall vibes because the cover, it's magical realism, it takes place in New York. Her other books feel like fall books. Lots of good options. I think out of this stack, I'm most excited for The Only One Left by Riley Sager and then The 7 Year Slip. I think for this prompt, The Only One Left fits it a little better just because it is very gothic and that kind of to me matches the season more, and I was super excited about this one. Also, we don't really have any spooky reads on the TBR yet, so I'm gonna add this one. This one follows this woman named Lenora who is older. She needs a caretaker. Back in the day, she was accused of murdering her whole family, and this caretaker is coming to find out the truth, I believe. And like I said, when I started it, it just had very fun gothic vibes, which are perfect for this time of year. I've heard this one has so many crazy twists and turns, and I love Riley Sager, so I cannot wait to read this one. Okay, prompt 6. Bookstagram decides. Okay, shameless plug to go follow my Bookstagram account. I don't post on there that much, but I'm trying to get better about posting more. So I'm gonna pick 2 books that I've kind of already been trying to choose between, take a picture, post a poll, and then at the end we'll see which one has more votes. I feel like The 7 Year Slip is one that I've gone to a few times. My Lovely Wife is as well. I guess I don't just have to do 2 options. Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick The Love of My Afterlife to match up with The 7 Year Slip. That way they're both kind of in the same theme and the same genre. They're both kind of like magical realism rom-coms that I feel like would be perfect for the season. I feel like throwing My Lovely Wife in the mix, it's so different than these two, but these two would be a really good matchup. So I'm gonna take a picture, post that poll, and we'll see what Bookstagram decides. Let's see, how do we do this here? I don't think I've ever done a poll before. Which one should I read in October? Love of My Afterlife, Seven-Year Slip. Ooh, you can change the color, can't you? Let's do orange, that feels very fall. Okay, posting that one, and we will see what Bookstagram decides. The only thing is though, I kind of wanted to read both of those next month, so whichever one doesn't get picked, I kind of want to use the other one for another prompt, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and draw prompt number 7. I think we're on 7, right? 2, 3. Yep, okay. A book you thrifted. Quite a few books I thrifted. I did thrift The Naturals. I thrifted My Lovely Wife. I thrifted Wilder Girls, which could be a good pick for the fall because it's a YA horror novel. Also, this is good because I did not thrift Seven-Year Slip or Love of My Afterlife, so neither of those books would have worked for this prompt anyway. I also thrifted Scythe, which I was thinking about picking for a different prompt. But I feel like from these three, I am the most excited for My Lovely Wife. I feel like I haven't read a thriller that I've been obsessed with in a while, and this one could potentially be the one. I've just heard really good things about it. I feel like when I see thriller recommendations, this is always on the list. Like I said, it's about this couple and their domestic hobby that they enjoy doing together is murdering other people. I think like in their neighborhood, which sounds really interesting, and I think they lead a very normal life outside of this, so it's going to be interesting to see how they get away with this and don't get caught. I am very excited to add this thriller to the TBR. So I have one prompt left to pull. So far, no one has voted in our poll, but whichever one doesn't win, I kind of want to make work for whatever the last prompt is, if possible. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the prompt. If it doesn't work for either of the books, then I will pull something else altogether, but I feel like it might be a bit before we get some votes on our poll, so I might have to come back to it later and just like throw in a clip or throw in whichever book ends up winning. But for now, let's pull prompt 8 and see what we get. A book set in another country. Okay, well, Seven-Year Slip takes place in New York. Where does The Love of My Afterlife take place? I feel like this one takes place in like the afterlife, which isn't technically another country, but could that count? Okay, wait, I just got confused because I saw one page that said East London and one page that said Texas. Where does this take place? And then I just saw Irish. So confused. Maybe it's like multicultural. I'm about to Google it. Love of My Afterlife setting. The setting of Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood is primarily London. Okay, this could work. I kind of do feel like Seven-Year Slip will win the poll just because it is a really beloved popular book and Love of My Afterlife is pretty recent. So I feel like if it works out that way, it would be perfect. I'm gonna just peruse the cart, see if there's anything set in another country that I might rather read over one of those two books. I would say maybe the Inheritance Games, but I feel like it takes place in the US. No idea. I'm gonna have to Google this one too. The Inheritance Games setting, Connecticut and Texas. Okay, so not in another country. So if the poll works out how I'm thinking it will, then I kind of want to pick The Love of My Afterlife as book set in another country. Let's go with that for now, and if anything changes, I will throw in a little clip or something letting you guys know what books that I picked. So the 8 books on my October TBR are My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, The Only One Left by Riley Sager, Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, Graveyard Shift by ML Rio, Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh, Blue Sisters by Coco Mellers, and TBD, but most likely, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. So those are the books on my October TBR. As always, let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them, what you think I should get to first. Let me know what you're reading in October, and be sure to like this video if you did like it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Stick around so that you don't miss out on any future book videos from me, and I will see you guys so soon in the next one. Bye guys.